Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a really great couple here with us today. They're going to help solve a lot of your legal and your human resources needs. I have Ken McLaughlin and Carrie Reeder McLaughlin, and they're from the law offices of McLaughlin and Associates. And Ken, I want to start with you because you are really specializing in the small business. Tell me about that.
That's right, yeah. So I've been practicing for 17 years, and throughout the course of my practice, general practice firms don't fit in with small businesses, and the whole purpose of our firm is to focus in on small businesses. There's three core areas of small businesses. They want to set up their business, they need you to help out with their contracts, then they have a lot of employment issues, which is where Carrie comes in, and there's labor issues and unemployment issues and non-competes and those type of things. And then the final is intellectual property. So when they're setting up their website, they don't want to spend a lot of money and lose their money. When they have brought people in, they don't want to lose their clients. So those are the three basic areas that we cover.
Well, and I think it's really important. I think you have hit the nail on the head because a majority of the American economy is made up of small business people like me, and my biggest asset are my people. And I want to take care of them. And sometimes, most of the time when I need a lawyer, I'm really centered around these three things, and employment and human resources. I often can't afford that person. So that's where I'm really interested in talking to Carrie, because she can help me a lot with maybe a human resource issue. Tell me what you do.
Yes, you need to know the new laws that are coming out, setting up an employee file, if you have an EEO issue.
All of those things.
I can help you, and you don't have to pay the high lawyer price. You can pay my fees, which are much lower.
Right. Well, and sometimes there are legal issues involving employees.
Yes.
But oftentimes when we set it up right, and I think as a small business person, lots of people go into business because they are good at something, or they make something, or they have an idea, and then I hear this all the time. People are often shocked by all the back end work. I want to hire this person. What do you mean I have to have an employee file? Or, and
exactly.
I have to do this, or I need to incorporate. What does that mean? That am I a sole proprietor, or I have this cool name for my company? How do I have people write checks to my company and not? So that's where you are really a great advocate for the small business.
Right. So there's a culture to small businesses, and I've worked in larger firms in the past, and when you work for large corporations or you work on behalf of them, I kind of call them institutional clients. So institutional clients are worried about their bottom line. They have so much they're supposed to do in a certain period of time. They have to get things done. They have different departments, and small businesses are not set up that way. Small businesses are not numbers. They're not monolithic buildings. What they are is they are people who had a vision and they want to grow that vision, and they don't want an attorney who's going to come in there and not understand them. You have to understand that business owner, that's an extension of himself. And so when I work with small business owners, now I am a small business owner, and I say, tell me about your business, and try to understand what they're trying to accomplish. There are some people, when you look at contracts, if you take it from a lawyer's perspective, you'll say, I'm going to put together a 50-page great contract. But if you don't understand the business relationships that they have, they won't get their business done. Sometimes they only need 4-page contracts that deal with certain points. Sometimes they do need 50-page contracts, and unless you understand that industry or that business and what they're trying to accomplish in that, you can't really help out that client. So that's kind of what we do. We sit down and we try to understand them, and we're not looking at a one in and one out. Someone says, do a contract, here's the fee, go on. We're kind of going beyond that. We're saying, hey, tell us about what you're trying to accomplish now. What do you want to accomplish in a couple years? And we want them forever. I mean, as long as they have their business, we want to do their good times, bad times. I found, I meet their families, I meet their kids, I have multi-generations. And so again, you're a professional, you're the attorney, but in a certain respect, they become friends of yours, and they become business partners, and they'll call you on completely unrelated things, and you'll ask them about unrelated things, and you'll share things about your families. And so that's what we're about. We're lawyers, but like I said, the business is not, to me, is, like I said, a number. We want to make them kind of part of who we are.
Well, and I think what I hear you saying, and I think this is what other small business owners are looking for, is that, I may, do TV as my business, but I always am looking for a partner who can help me with the legal thing that, I trust and has a similar goal of wanting to, do what they do and I do what I do. And it's a partner, whether you're my lawyer, my HR person, an accountant, those are all things that they don't teach in TV school. you know. And I think that's neat, because as we talk to you, we're not legal experts, so I try to play one on TV every now and then. So people need to explain to you a little bit more, so you do understand where you might get into some legal needs or some HR needs.
Absolutely.
And I just find you two are very approachable. I think that's important too, because we don't want to, as human beings, we don't want to feel stupid, and we don't want to ask dumb questions, but sometimes we kind of need to, in order to make sure you know what we really need. Like, you know, I do want to employ this person here, or I've employed them, but I forgot to fill out the paperwork.
We want to make sure that you're doing things correctly
Right.
and legally, so you don't get in trouble.
Right. Right. Well, and sometimes we just don't know that. And I think that's a neat place where you guys get, you know, to work with us and help us through all that we just don't think about as a small business owner.
Right.
I would imagine that a small business owner doesn't think they need to think about having a lawyer on the team.
They don't. I mean, a lot of people try to do it themselves. The internet is, interestingly, the internet is the worst thing and the best thing that's ever happened to us. So it's the worst thing in that people will go and they will try to do it themselves. So
Yes.
you can do it yourself wills, do it yourself contracts, do it yourself incorporations.
And forms.
And that's, and that's
Yeah.
the downside of it. So yes, we do have to deal with it, but I'll tell you why it's the best thing. Because when people go through that experience and they come to us, they usually have a bad experience, because what they really are looking for, and they don't realize, is they need someone who understands them and who can go that next level for them. And so when, you know, a lot of people who've done that, they come to us and they said, well, I had a problem with this. And you're right, you don't want to make someone feel like they were dumb, because, you know, let's face it, if I'm a small business owner and I don't have a big budget, you got to take care of things. Is it cutting corners? Not really. It's trying to be economically smart.
Got it.
So, but sometimes they get to that next level, like, okay, I was starting out, I did what I could, but now it's getting a little bit harder for me. So they
Exactly,
come here.
that's
So the
very-
first thing is not to say, well, you should have done this, 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 and this. It's just, okay, where do you want to go now? That's what I'm saying. It's not about fixing a wrong. It's just kind of building them so that they go to that next level.
How can we help you?
I mean, I have so many guys, you know, it's, in a weird way, I mean, I know a lot of my clients who kind of started out with me and now they're still here, and you see how they've really evolved. You know, they started out and they really didn't know what they were doing. I mean, they knew their industry, but the rest they didn't. And now when you talk to them, they're telling you about industry, they're talking about trends, they're talking about acquiring other businesses. And so that's kind of, you know, as they grow, we grow, you know, obviously as a business, but we also kind of grow with them. I've learned a lot about industries that I never knew anything about. I'm not a science major, but I have technical companies that I understand certain aspects of their business. And I guess it's interesting at a cocktail party or something, but, you know, but it is interesting. And you meet so many different personalities, so many different businesses, and you realize it kind of humbles you, because you know, there's this perception that lawyers at a certain level, but really it's a business and an industry like everything else.
I can't thank you enough for stopping by Business Connection and sharing a little bit about what you do here, and we're going to be right back with more. Stay tuned.